always there to remind me to stay focused, stay the course during bad weather and challenging times. I had a little over a week in Taiwan sitting in an apartment trying to come to terms with this. Still hasn't happened. But he kept saying to me, Kevin, it's game time. You know, for 30 years, he was committed to this company. He was committed to this business. And he made his life work. Tens of thousands of individuals that have followed him. And all I can say is we need to step up. His life work isn't finished. And we need to get shit done. Period. And there's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be done. And if you want to honor him, I don't want to hear about, we want to do this, we want to do that, and we want to have ribbons and stuff like that. If you want to truly honor him, if you really want to honor him, turn up the effort 1 degree. Just turn it up 1 more degree. Step up. Step up. You want to honor him. You became his life's work. There's tens of thousands of people watching this right now, whether anybody realizes it or not. But if you really want to honor him, step up and make his life's work meaningful. Make it meaningful. And that's what I'm going to do. I thank everybody for, I can't even tell you how many emails, how many texts, everything, you know. Take care of yourself. Don't work so hard or whatever. Let me tell you what. I'm going to work harder, and we're going to make stuff happen. And Dan, I love you, brother. You know, I love you.
Wow, did I ever think this day would happen? By the way, I'm another brother. I thought I was the one other brother other than Donald, and now I find out that he's got 4 or 5. But you talk about brothers and somebody that's unique. And I wasn't going to mention Invincible, but it's been thrown around a little bit now, you know. So I guess I'd be one of the first to say that if it weren't for Dennis Franks, there wouldn't be an Invincible. And when you look at it, and when you think of what the word invincible is all about, it's not about any one person. It's not about an act that somebody had done. It wasn't a great achievement. It was somebody that had the willingness and the guts and the fortitude and the support to chase their dream. And that's what Invincible is all about. And that's what Dennis was all about. So I could fill in the other 30 years, and I'm going to do a little bit of that, but I'm looking at Nancy and Lauren and Katie and Claudia and Donald and just the love that he had for you. I mean, you knew that. I felt that. I was a part of that right from the beginning. I might have changed a couple of the diapers, girls, so don't be too embarrassed. But, you know, it was a great time for me to be a part of Dennis's life. Does anybody remember the first time you met Dennis? What was it like? Yeah, put your hand up. The first time. You remember the first time you met him? So I'm getting a shot of a lifetime, right? I go to this goofy, this new coach is coming into Philadelphia, and he's going to have a free agent tryout. And I decided I'd take a shot at the darn thing. And at the time, I was going to this club in between because I was playing football at this other place, and I was going to this club, and the club was Fran O'Brien's. And there was this guy. He was a crowd control specialist, he called him, and of course he was a bouncer, and it was Dennis, and he was Denny to me back then. But anyway, the tryout, I had to try out, and then I got signed by a lot of hundreds of dollars, $21,000. And I come and I'm going to celebrate a friend of Brian's. And I walk up there and I see him and he says, "Hey, what's going on there? How come you're smiling so bad?" I says, "You're not going to believe this," because I knew that this guy was going to get a shot to try out for the Philadelphia Eagles, thanks to Coach Ramil. And I walk up to him and he says, "You know what?" He says, "You're too pretty to play in the NFL," right? So that's well, I said, "Well, look at you, you gorilla. Who's ever going to take you? I mean, you can't be moving around there." And that's how it all started. And that's how Dennis became an important part of my life. And we've been friends forever since. It's been 1976. Well, he wound up being the godfather of my children. My daughter Gabriella and my son Vinny are here. He was always Uncle Denny to them, and he'll always be Uncle Denny to them. And it's a great loss for all of us. He was my best friend, and as I said, he was my brother, my Eagles roommate. I'll tell you a few things. I'm going to, at the end, I'll say some things you don't know about Dennis. He was my soulmate, and he was just my inspiration, our family's inspiration. And I could have never done it without him. I could never have done that invincible thing without Dennis Franks. And, you know, we've heard JR, he did a great job. And, Buck, nobody's better than you, man. I mean, you just say it like it is. He was a great coach. And Donald, you know, some of the things that you were talking about, Dennis, I can see that. And that's what made him so special, because he was a loving husband, certainly a great brother, father and grandfather. And he was a caretaker. He was a caretaker for the entire Franks family and everybody that was involved in it. And he never, ever, ever said no. And to call him an enabler, I'd say that's an understatement. And if he didn't succeed under his leadership, he would take it pretty personal. Now, I saw somebody here that was wearing a Who's Nuts t-shirt. Where is it? Can you stand up? There he is. Show everybody that Who's Nuts t-shirt. All right. So anyway, that t-shirt was designed by our special teams coach, Ken Iman. And Ken Iman was the center, and he would just lay Dennis up. And he'd always say to Dennis right before a game as we're going out on the field, he said, "Hey, Denny," he said, "set your hair on fire and light it up. You know, set your hair on fire and light it up." So, and that's what Dennis did. You know, he lit up the fire in every one of us that's here. And I think it's our responsibility to keep that fire burning, just like the Olympic torch. And that's the way I'm going to look at it with Dennis. Every time I see a torch or I see a flame, I'm going to think about Dennis. It's by lighting up that fire. And I think it's our way of celebrating the legacy of the Diesel. I don't know where he came up with that nickname. You're going to have to tell me that one. But that was a pretty good one. He demanded excellence. He was a visionary, a risk taker, and above all, we were talking about a dreamer, and he was willing to pay the price. And I have this great quote that I like to use all the time, and Dennis was a poster child for that. And it said, "Happy are those who dream dreams and are willing to pay the price to make their dreams come true." And he was certainly willing to pay the price. And the other thing we liked about Dennis, Janet and I were talking right after the passing, and we were thinking, you know, what can I say? What can I possibly say to honor Dennis? And she said he was always about second chances, and it was second chances was his mantra, and seizing the opportunity, a moment. And Coach Ramil knows about opportunity, right? And you know about nobody ever drowned in sweat. How about that one? That's a pretty good one, right? And this is one of his best. Don't overload your mouth with your butt. I mean, isn't that right, Coach? And you know what? It was a preparation, and as JR was saying to everybody else here, will tell you that's what made him so very, very special. Now, we're talking, JR, you were talking about the Zoom meeting, and one of the last times that Dennis had done a presentation. Does anybody here remember the last time they had a conversation with Dennis, or got a text, or got an email? Well, the Eagles were playing the Panthers a couple of weeks ago. And right during that game, I got a text from Dennis, and he just said, "Life is good. Life is good." And that's the way he would want us to celebrate that life, you know. And this is it. You know, you talked about it, JR. This book, this is the last laugh. And thanks to Bonnie Church and some other great people here, we got a chance to get that thing going. So what this book is about, it's not about, again, when Invincible is not about a person, it's about the dream. What The Last Laugh is about, it's about you. It's about your legacy and what makes you special. I'd like everybody now to hold hands with somebody next to them, close their eyes, and I would like you to just think of one word that you might use to describe our friend Dennis Franks. And I'll give you a couple seconds to do that while I get this page going to the next. All right. Anybody want to shout out? Happy. Victorious. What else? Loving. What else? All right. Vibrant. All right. There we go. Anybody in the back? All right. So what I did is I did a pool like that. Coach Ramil, what did you say Dennis was? Passionate. Right. And he was unequaled. Passion. So I did a pool with a bunch of teammates and everybody around, and I got my kids, I got Janet, whatever it might be. I didn't do the family. I figured, I'll give you a break on this one. But these are some of the things that people said about our friend Dennis Franks. Because you know what, he was all about the why. You keep asking, well, why? Well, the why is because of you. That's what it was. It was a challenge that you had, and he was all about that why. So this is what, number one was he was passionate. We have unequaled here. He was a brother, fantastic, a jokester. How about a performer? I mean, did he like to perform? I mean, when he come out on that stage and you just light that stage up and just take that audience of 25 or 30 people and he'd set their hair on fire, right? He was driven, courageous, energetic, intense, electric, enthusiastic, a believer, very, very loyal, full throttle, insanely enthusiastic, solid, supportive, encouraging, exceptional, exuberant, and last but not least, Dennis Franks was unique. He was very, very unique. Here's some things that you might not know about Dennis that I found out over the years. He was a Pennsylvania State discus champion. Did you know that? Yeah. I was a coach at a local high school before I started playing football, and I went to Penn State for the state championship, and I saw this guy. I'm going to tell you something. I saw this guy whipping around that circle like you can't imagine, throwing that thing out about 185 feet, and he was the state champion. And I remember when he was 18 walking up to him and saying, "Hey, dude, that was awesome what you just did." And that's the guy that called me a pretty boy a few years after that, right? So that was my guy. And of course, Donald was talking about the family and the mom and the dad. Did you know that Dominic, his father, was a bronze medal winner? Is that correct? He was awarded the Bronze Star. Yeah, how about that? And his mom, she was not only a great figure skater, but also a great coach. And she coached JoJo Starbuck, Olympic skater. And JoJo married to, of course, the great quarterback from those Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's see, what else do I have here? So we're talking about dads. So we flew our dads out to Dallas for a game, and and we took them out for dinner. I think we went to Baby Doe's. Where's our Dallas people? Okay. So we took them out to Baby Doe's, and guess what? We're coming home from Baby Doe's, and we got lost. We got lost coming home. We had a 9 o'clock meeting. We were at the Stemmons Marriott, Coach, and we got lost. And they didn't have GPSs back then in 1978, you know what I'm saying? So we're there, and then there was a detour. And oh my God, we're looking at our watch, and our meeting's at 9 o'clock. And if we're not going to be there for that meeting, we're done. We're not going to be playing in that game. So we're running like heck. We get up there, we get into the meeting. The meeting hadn't started. It was the first and last time Coach Ramil ever was late for a meeting. And I think it was probably a pretty good Cabernet that kept in there. He started every day with a workout with his personal trainer. And he came home to swallow a Market America's Isotonics. And then he was followed by his big boy breakfast that Nancy would just lovingly make for him. And this message, this breakfast was like one of a kind. He had his eggs, sausage, tomatoes. So Nancy says she's never going to cook sausage again. And it was drowning, and the tomatoes were drowning in balsamic, and of course Nancy prepared it. And I heard a nickname. He was Barrel. Was that the nickname? Well, he used to call me, well, did he call any one of you fish-eye fool? How many did he call fish? So to him, I was Vinny, from Vinny Barbarino, right? Vinny Barbarino and Pepperoni Pizza Face, right? So Pepperoni Pizza Face. Here's some of his nicknames. Of course, we know it was Diesel when he was playing, and I swear to God, I'd never say it to him again. I never did say it when he was playing. We used to call him Pumpkin. So that was one, Pumpkin. And then the other, and when he was at Michigan, they called him Ballpark. And the reason why is, last name, and he loved hot dogs. You know what he used to like to do? He would like to take Frank's hot dogs, and he would chop them up and put them in split pea soup, and he would wash it down with single malt scotch. Buck, I did that same thing with you. I knew he liked scotch, but I really needed something from him, so I was going to try to, I was trying to just get him going. And I hated scotch, it was like, but you did what you had to do, to get the job done. Nancy, we have a dog that we in Banner Elk, North Carolina, and we were out there, and we got into 4th of July about 11 years ago. And the dog's name was Kellogg. And Nancy said, we're looking at this dog, and she says, you know what, that dog's just going to steal your heart. I want to call it Bandit. And that's how Bandit got his name from Aunt Nancy. So we got Uncle Denny and Aunt Nancy. In training camp the night before every one of the games, we would do something. We would just watch TV, and we were allowed to take a couple beers up to our room. Afterwards, they'd have it served, and we'd be up there watching Saturday Night Live, whatever it was. And we'd be thinking about what would we do crazy that the next day for the first play in the game. So Dennis was talking with Ken Hyman, and Ken Hyman was getting in his ear about setting his hair on fire and causing a wreck. And then he knocks out the goddamn kicker from the Oakland Raiders, for crying out loud. And then, Dennis, he was right over top going like this. And he got fined about $5,000. I was there. I don't know if you know that, but I was there when Dennis and Nancy met, right? It was at the Eagles Alumni Day, and I was there. And at Dennis, of course, we know that Dennis likes to play the guitar. And when he got sent to Detroit, and I guess he got sentenced to Detroit, he used to jam with the head coach back then. That was head coach Monty Clark, and that was pretty cool. And JR, you said it. That big meeting that we had was at the Cherry Hill Hyatt. And guess what? I was the guy that was sort of the kicker-offer for it, and all those guys were there. And then you talked about Tyson's Corner, and I had the distinct honor of being the first MC for the first Market America conference that you had, right? And when you're talking about eulogies, Dennis delivered the eulogy for my father Kingy. So it was a pretty interesting back that we have. Let's see if I can get this page going. I need more spit. I don't have any spit here. There we go. All right. And here finally. So, the last thing here on this one. He was really ticked at me. He said, because we're talking about Invincible. He says, how can you have a guy with a name like Mark Wahlberg playing you, and I have a guy named Stink that plays me, right? Yep. All right. So let's... That's right, Stink Fisher. And he was the center. Yeah, so and my word for Dennis, and I'll wrap it up, we'll call this a 2-minute drill. So understanding the excellences, that the excellence to me was a big one word that I had for Dennis, and there were so many other words, and I'm going to just miss him terribly. I don't know how I'm keeping it together right now because I've been a wreck for the last couple of weeks. I lost somebody so very special in my life, and he just showed me the way. And I want to thank my family for being so supportive, and for many of my friends and all the texts that I was getting and emails, but especially Gabby and Vinny Gent was there, and just, hey, Dad, you okay? You okay? You want to just talk about it? So they knew, and this is the way I look at the legacy of Dennis Franks. And here's the understanding with him that excellence is the result of caring more than others think is wise. He would ask us to do more than what others think is safe. He would tell us to chase our dreams more than what others think is practical. Diesel, a.k.a. the Pumpkin, would expect more than others would think possible. And here we go. And this this page thing. Here we go. And what is possible. And Dennis made sure that the unthinkable was thinkable, that the undoable is doable, and that the impossible is possible. He would tell us, never stop living your dream, and I believe he's telling us that right now. He would make sure that we won't let life pass us by, that we enjoy each and every day, that we laugh loudly. Are we going to miss that laugh? Are you kidding me? I mean, you always knew that he was in the room or he was in that floor with that energetic, infectious laugh. And he would tell us to love unconditionally, play hard without fear, take risks, work diligently, pursue passion, give lots of hugs. But I think most of all, he would say, drink deeply from the well of life. Excellence is the way I look at the definition of Dennis Franks and his expectations that he had for all of us. And I think it's our responsibility to keep that legacy of Dennis Franks going and keep the fire burning, baby. That's what it's all about. And just yesterday, we were over at the Franks house, and I went up, and I'll leave you with this. And this is basically if you walked into his office, it's absolutely unbelievable. It's like a museum. And there's this one sign that's up there, and it's over to his left. And this is what he would want us to do right now, is push yourself to be great. Push yourself to be great. And it's as simple as that. So thank you so very much for allowing me to honor Dennis Franks and to be a part of this. Thank you, Nancy, so much. And, hey, get the last laugh. We're all going to get the last laugh eventually.
Nancy, I was there when you got married. Lauren and Katie, I knew you when you were only a sperm. Yeah. Don and Claudia, a pleasure to meet you. I'm sure we've met over the years. I knew the Franks' parents, Mr. and Mr. Franks, because they used to come to the games, come to the locker room after the game, and I never lost my love for coaching at different levels. And as a high school coach, you knew all the parents. You knew all the parents real well. And I carried that on through my coaching career to always make sure I knew the parents. And it was so obvious to me, having had the opportunity to coach Dennis for 3 years, where it all came from. Where it all came from when you met the family. But anyway, friends and business associates, I had the opportunity to coach Dennis for 3 years. When I came to Philadelphia, Dennis was going to the Oakland Raiders. And, when you come in, you're taking over a losing organization. And I started looking at films, looking at the rosters. Who are they? These guys? I was coaching at UCLA, out of the league, not in the National Football League. So I was, refreshing myself with the guys that are on the roster, and I'm looking at film, and I said, well, who's this guy? Well, that's Dennis Franks. Where's he? Well, he's going to the Raiders, going to the Oakland Raiders. I said, what do you mean he's going to the Oakland Raiders? Well, I don't know if he was waived or traded in some kind of a clause. I said, well, I told Jimmy Murray, the general manager, get him back here. I want him back here. So we got him back. So originally, he wasn't even going to be on the roster when we took it over. Now, why did I want him back here? Well, first off, as Vince knows, the organization was run down and they'd been losing for a long time. And I never thought I could ever outsmart anybody. I always thought if I surrounded myself with the right kind of kids and worked extremely hard and brought them together and united them, that we'd have a chance to gradually improve, and a lot of those guys that weren't quite good enough because of size, speed, or whatever it might have been would end up being good football players. So we used that approach, and we got Dennis back, and it was amazing. Then we bring Vince in off the street, okay. But we needed these kind of kids because your organization, Marketing America, you talk about the foundation. Well, my foundation was always those kind of people. And we didn't have a first, second, or third round pick for 3 years. Okay, and they've been losing. So what are you going to do? You're going to build a foundation with Vince Papale, Dennis Franks, and other kids just like them that knew that hard work really wasn't a form of punishment. It was a way to get better. And I had so much fun, even in losing, had fun with these kids because they could light you up. You'd get excited. It's infectious to stand next to somebody that's really passionate about what he does. In our second year there, we're playing New Orleans Saints. I wrote it down, November 6th. Playing Hank Stram's team. We come in, Guy Morris played for me offensive center for 7 years. The only game he missed in 7 years was that game. So Dennis Franks, our backup center and leading captain special team, says, Dennis, you're starting this week, get going, you know. And you're a little bit concerned because he's not the most physical statured guy in terms of NFL, 6'4" and a half, you know, two. Now if you can't play him unless you're 290 or 300 or better. But anyway, Dennis starts the ball game. And we had won 3 games up to that time. Well, we play lights out. We win 27-6 or 7, like that. And you look at the films, I grade the films. Dennis played the position as well or better than the starter had been playing it all along. He really did, you know. And I learned something from that. Never allow the size of the dog in the fight to determine how good he's going to be when given the opportunity. So from then on, I quit worrying about how big my offensive center had to be. Unfortunately, for Dennis, Guy Morris came back and played a few more years, okay? A big, fine football player and a big man. But anyway, through my career, I go out of coaching. I broadcast for 14 years, go back to St. Louis Rams. We got a little guy named Mike Grudadoria, free agent. He had signed as a free agent. He, too small to play center. Wrong. Why? I'm thinking, you know, Dennis Franks proved to me little guys can play in this league, you know. So, hey, we win world championship. I go home. I come back to Kansas City Chiefs. There's a free agent kid out on the market named Casey Wigman, too small to play. He was backup center at Chicago Bears. Dennis Franks told me and showed me little guys can play at that position. Okay, so I bring him to Kansas City. He set a record for starting as an offensive center in the history of the National Football League. Missed the first game of the season, never missed another one for 14 years. He's played more games, and he was too small. But he had the same thing that Dennis had. You know, I read a book a few years ago called Grit. Grit, the power of passion and perseverance, written by Angela Duckworth, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. I live in Pennsylvania. The book really stimulated me. And when I read the book, I thought about the kids that she was writing about. She was writing about Dennis. She was writing about Vince. A number of kids that have crossed my path and made me look a hell of a lot smarter than I really am. Okay? And so you know what I did? I found her phone number and called up and went over. I said, Mrs. Dankworth. I had no idea she's a little tiny Asian woman as she's writing a book like this. My God. Anyway, so I go see her at the university and have lunch with her. We went for a 45-minute lunch the last 3 hours. And we talked. You know what we talked about? We talked about people like Dennis. We talked about people like Vince. We talked about London Fletcher, who lives here in Charlotte. Free agent we signed in 98. 16 years and never missed a game. Nominated for the Hall of Fame this year. London Fletcher. He lives right here in Charlotte. She wrote about those kids. She never coached football. She never coached football. She didn't know any of the stuff they're pumped. But she knew people. And I learned something from that. And it was so good for me to read this. But it made me think about how many wonderful kids that I have been exposed to in my many, many years of coaching. You know, Dennis, I love to tell this story. Carol and I always really, really enjoyed to get. We were high school teachers and coaches. Okay, that's where I came out of. And you really loved getting to know. I always call them kids. Okay, and we'd have after spring workouts all in the off season, we'd always throw a big party at our house. Okay, and they'd all come, married, significant others, girlfriends, and it would be packed. And we had a big pool table downstairs with an open bar with a beer tapper, and myself and George Hill did the cooking, and other coaches, Ken Iman, you mentioned. And so it comes time, the party's over about 1 o'clock at night, okay? And needless to say, we had a lot of fun. But I didn't realize how much scotch this young player drank, okay? So I see him. They say, no, he's not too good a shape. I said, Dennis, I'm not letting you go home. So there was another player with him, but 85 years old. I don't remember as well. I actually called Vince a while back. Vince, was that you I put in that bed? No, he said it wasn't me. But anyway, I put him to bed in our front bedroom. Okay, so put him to bed. The next morning, he gets up, and God love my wife. She's the queen of football. Anyway, she cooks these two kids an unbelievable breakfast. Dennis, well, you know Dennis, he had a wonderful grin, a little laugh. He said, Mrs. Ramil, can I come back next weekend? God bless him. But really, you can describe people. And to me, what I've learned through high school, junior college, Division I college football, and the NFL with 3 teams, it's all about people. In your business, it's all about people. And there's a rhythm to everybody's life. Unfortunately, that rhythm ends for all of us. None of us are immune to what's going to happen to us. And Dennis's rhythm always put him way ahead of everything he did. He couldn't help it. He could not help it. The problem at the end, the rhythm worked backwards on him. But he was always ahead. And that was just him. And, I'll always be grateful for having had the opportunity to coach him, to care about him. And something, let me pass this on to you. I learned the hard way. If you feel strongly about a person, don't wait to his funeral to tell him. I did that with my own father. I'm embarrassed to say. Some of you guys might have been raised like my dad was tough. Great man, tough, honorary, hardworking mechanic, but boy, was he on my culo, okay? And I was always afraid to say, Dad, I love you. I said it to him the day he died. And I made up my mind then. When I feel strongly about somebody, I'm going to tell them. Now, it may not be the same kind of love you have for your own wife or your own children, but it's a lot deeper than just respect. Yeah, I respect people sometimes I don't even like. I respect them from what they do. But really care about them as a person. Marnie is right out there. Leonard Tose's granddaughter, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles that Vince and I were so deep, she's here. Why? Because she loved the Eagles. She loved her grandpa. She loved Vince. She loves Janet sitting right there. And the last thing Janet Papali says to me on the phone call is what, Janet? I love you. You bet. Don't be embarrassed to tell somebody how you feel. And guys, I'm hurting like you, and we've all been through these experiences. It doesn't make them any easier. But I know this, when you think about your relationships with people like Dennis, you smile. And you thank him for being a part. Next August, I'm going to be very fortunate going in the NFL Hall of Fame, okay? And that is not worthy of applause. What I'm saying, the foundation for me being there is the Dennis Franks and the Vince Papalis and these kind of kids, not the number 1 picks. It's these guys that form the foundation of anything that we do successfully in our lives. So thank you for sharing him with me, sweetie. Thank you.
Well, hi everybody. definitely have talked about what an amazing man my father has been and will always be, but I wanted to talk about what an ordinary man he was. Because in our world, he was very ordinary. He wanted all the things that all of us wanted. He wanted to get married. He wanted to provide for his family, to have healthy children, eventually retire, grow old with my mom. In many ways, he lived a very ordinary life. He would take out the trash. He would complain when my mom made him something for dinner he did not like. Number one complaint of his life, if there was something on that plate he did not like, ruined his night. When she spent too much money, he would highlight it on the bills because nothing was online. He'd write a little note, "Really, Nancy?" and it was highlighted. He would sit in his same chair every single night. He would wait for us to go to bed, and he would turn on the worst TV and movies out there. 1 star every time. Every time they were 1 star. And my husband would try to sit and watch. There were subtitles a lot of times. And he didn't love to read, so it was kind of ironic that they were subtitled shows on Netflix, but he loved them. He would wash his car and ride his bike, and that pontoon boat he bought a couple years ago, he loved that pontoon boat. Turn up the music, and my mom would yell, "Dennis, turn it down, it's too loud." But he lived the American dream. He wanted all of those things, and he lived it every day. However, unlike most ordinary men, he did all those things with an extraordinary amount of love, compassion, gusto. He loved us so much, so much. He would sit for hours off to college, after college, and he would put together IKEA furniture. And this was his most hated activity. He would sweat, it would be hot, and he'd look at me and he'd be like, "Your mother is the handy one, I'm just the assistant." But he would put it together, and then he would remind me that he hated putting together furniture and to pay the extra $50 to get it put together. That was it. He loved us so much that every day, since we've been living with him, he would tell me I was his special girl. Even when I was grown and off to work, he would tell me every day how much he loved me. And as I would walk out the door, I'm taking William to school, Dan's taking William to school, he'd be like yelling, "Go make a difference," every day. Every day, that's what I hear. Go make a difference. And his belief in us was so strong that he made us all feel as though anything was possible. The world was our oyster. And he would do everything in his power to be sure that we would take those risks, learn from our failures, then get back up and do it again until we found our own happiness and our own success in our own way. Over the past 6 years, his extraordinary love was amplified. First, there was just Izzy, and he jumped right into that familiar role of girl granddad. He got a lot of practice with Lauren and I. But then 2.5 years ago, his first grandson was born, and soon after, the second. And this is when Diesel Man took off. From that moment, William was born, Diesel would tell him every day, without a doubt, "You're going to be a champion." Every day. He is an animal, let me tell you. He is out of control. But Diesel saw something in him, and he says, "You're going to be a champion." Anytime William was crying from the time he was a little baby, Diesel would run down from the office and open the door and say, "What are you doing to that boy?" Like my mom and I, were doing something crazy. He was just a baby. He was crying. And he would pick him up and hold him and snuggle him. And instantly, William would be soothed. in the past, since July, we have, had the blessing to live with my parents, and William and Diesel are best friends. D and Willie Rivers. I hate that name, Willie Rivers. He was the only one that called him Willie Rivers, and whatever, I never said anything. But it was D and Willie Rivers, the best of friends. William would wake him up in the morning, run up to his office in the afternoon after school. And let me tell you, Diesel not being here has created this overwhelming sadness in my soul. I didn't know such a thing could exist. But we will make sure that William becomes a champion, because I know that's what he would want. And we miss him every minute of every day. I think about him. And I miss him, and I don't know what this new world is going to look like without him. I don't know. But we're going to stick together, and we're going to love each other, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to be better, because he spent his whole life teaching us to be better. And if we don't become better, what was all that for? So while we miss him every minute of every day, we have to walk away being better for him, because that's what he would want. I love you.
All right, thank you everyone for taking the time and effort to come here to celebrate with us today. We're here, we're celebrating the incredible life of my father. He would joke with us that one day when he passed away, he wanted the biggest party. He wanted people to drink, he wanted people to take shots and drink scotch and dance and laugh, and sing, even if you don't know the words. To be happy that he lived. We cannot be sad because, like everyone here said, he really lived. We cannot be sad because he really lived. He crammed 10 lifetimes of achievements into one life that was taken too soon. But I'm going to speak frankly for a minute. I'm going to tell you why I'm sad. I'm sad because my children were born with a silver spoon. My children, Izzy and Cruz, and my nephew William, were born with everything. And they were lucky enough to be born with the most incredible grandfather, the best Diesel. And he was born to make them champions. And now he's gone. He was their biggest cheerleader, their greatest coach. He's gone, and that breaks my heart. I'm sad because my mom and dad, they really were a fairy tale. They actually liked each other. They did everything together, mostly chores, but they always did it together. They were always laughing. They would poke fun at each other. He would say, "Oh, Nancy, you have a giraffe neck." And she would say, "Oh, you have a pumpkin head." He would say, "I love you today," to her. He'd always tell her. They were supposed to grow old together on the lake, taking boat trips and drinking wine, sitting outside by these big fires he would make in the outdoor fireplace. But now their love story has an ending, and that makes me sad. You know why else I'm sad? Because he was my safety net. I walked a tightrope life. I lived my best life. I jumped at all the chances. I took all the risks. I chased all my dreams. Because my dad always said, "Lauren, you take your swings and you always can come home. You can always come home." His words gave me security. So I walked the tightrope every day because I knew he was the net under me. Now I'm sad because I have no net. I'm not sure I can take those swings anymore. Because without him, I'm not sure what our home looks like. So, I'm going to honestly and wholly feel my sadness. But I ask you, as I ask myself, I'm not going to let it consume me. I'm going to wake up every morning, I'm going to take my vitamins, and I'm going to make it a great day. I'm going to wake up and make it a great day because that's what he taught me to do. I'm going to try and wake up early to work out every morning, but I'm not 100% sure yet, so I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. But I will play my music loud, and I will sing and dance, even when I don't know the words. I will be strong, and I'll continue to be strong because my dad didn't raise a quitter. I will be here to motivate my children. I will make sure my mom has hobbies and that she finds happiness again. And I will continue to take chances because he wouldn't want me to miss a single opportunity. And I'm going to make sure the legacy of Dennis Franks lives on, and that all the people around the world and his family in Market America will continue to be inspired by his energy. I can hear him now saying, just put one foot in front of the other and just keep moving forward. We will face this challenge together and we will overcome it. We lost a legend, and the magnitude of this loss is even greater than the loss of any sports hero, musical genius, or great business mogul. Why? Because not only did people watch my dad play football or listen to him play guitar or read his book or hear him speak, all of his admirers actually knew him. Everyone knew him on a personal level, an intimate level, because unlike any ordinary hero, my dad genuinely loved and cared for every person he met. He showed his true self to everyone. He gave his time and energy to everyone. He was undeniably authentic. In a world today that's filled with fakes, he was undeniably authentic. He honestly wanted to make every single person he met a better version of themselves. And not for personal gain, but just because that was who he was. So, I know it's not just me that hurts so deeply. There are thousands of us, because thousands of us were changed for the better because we knew him. After his sudden passing on Saturday, on Sunday I was home and I went up to his office and I sat at his desk. And I looked at all the Post-it notes, his laptop, his yellow memo pads, like a scene from a movie, just touching all the things on his desk. I found two things displayed on his desk. One was a newspaper clipping. I believe it came from his sister or his mother. It was dated 1998. It was a motivational speech that a coach gave to his players. And we printed it on the back of the mass cards that you were all given today when you came in. The second thing I found on his desk was a small piece of white lined paper. And on it, my dad had handwritten this short passage. Someday you will read or hear that Billy Graham is dead. Don't believe a word of it. I shall be more alive than I am now. I will have just changed my address. I have gone into the presence of the God. Those are words straight from my dad. So, here we are, and if everybody can just raise their hand, just tell me, say, I promise to smile, to laugh, to sing, to dance in honor of Dennis. God bless.
Valor is the courage to begin, pushing yourself further than you thought you could go, to a level of maximum ability. There's something in between dream and goals, and it's called vision. My story begins going to the University of Michigan and studying economics. I went on to play in the National Football League, 4 years with the Philadelphia Eagles, and finishing my career with the Detroit Lions. When you're dreaming, a lot of people are going to try to knock you down. The only way it's going to happen is that you have to have somebody in your life that's going to help you come out of it, and that's going to be your mentor, it's going to be your coach. Dennis was my coach. I would have never made the Eagles if it wasn't for this guy, because we came together as advocates. It was really something that most kids just dream about, to be able to hit the paragon of their sports career. But then life started. I had to put to work my degree, and before you know it, I couldn't find a job. Positioning yourself in preparation, being in the right place at the right time. I was called by a gentleman by the name of J.R. Reidinger.
I'll tell you one thing, Dennis is the smartest football player that I've ever met.
When nobody knew what would happen, Dennis made a decision to do it this way, which determined the future.
I understood exactly where he was going, and I asked him for his information. Now, the company was so young, he tore off the piece of paper. He said, "Here it is." It seemed like great people found each other, and we had a common goal.
Dennis, I just want to thank you for watching my back, for standing up to people who tried to steal our dream when you didn't hardly know me. I owe you my life.
I'll never forget, in that whole process, there were stumbling blocks along the way, but everything was worth it to basically change an industry.
Look at your man right here. Come on. Come on. This guy's a true rock star, Dennis Franks. We're all blessed to have you.
It's been fabulous to be able to explore the world, put our children through college, as well as also doing their weddings, put them in their homes. When you think of the beauty and the vastness and how big this world is, how can one of us make a difference? But I got to tell you right now, you can make a difference. You can never stop leading by example. You cannot stop. I'm so grateful for the tens of thousands of unfranchised owners in multiple countries. There are so many people that need us and look to us as hope. It doesn't matter how much education you have, how much money you have. It doesn't matter what color you are or what faith you are. A person should set goals so that they can achieve the energy to get there. With enough effort, he may achieve it, but in the end, he will know he has been alive. There's so much to be grateful for. It has been an exciting adventure. The key to any success is simply helping someone else succeed. We have to keep telling.
Hell, that's see, I can't say it better than that. Hell, then Vince, I had a whole spiel about the book, and that's gone, you know. So I do have a few words I want to share with you. It dawned on me that the last time I saw Dennis was at a book signing for Amy Greason, who's here, when she wrote her book. Wonderful book, beautiful book. Dennis was there, and we were chatting it up. He was there just to support Amy, you know. And he said, "You know, we wrote this book." I said, "Yeah, I heard about it. I heard about it, Dennis." He said, "Well, let me go get you one." And I ran out the car, and he came back in, and he said, "Dadgummit, I thought I had one in the car, but I didn't. So give me your address, and I'll send you one." And I gave him my card, and 3 or 4 days later, this book comes in the mail, and I read it, and he had signed it, and he said to Ogie, "Thanks for all you do." And I thought, damn, I don't compared to Dennis, I don't do 1/1000th of what he does. You know, I don't do much. I mean, I do what I can do, but Mr. Energy, I can't ever live up to that. But he was just that kind of guy, always thinking of the other guy, you know.
Dennis Franks was a big, big man. Big of physical stature. Big personality, big dreams. Larger than life persona. But all that was dwarfed by one thing, his love for his fellow man. He had that willingness to go out of his way, to be of service to others. He had that rare commodity, something we hear in the sports world a lot. He made those around him better. You know, you hear about that in Michael Jordan or Tom Brady or somebody in that environment. But Dennis took that from the sports world, applied it to market America, and made all the people around him better. That's exactly what he did his whole life. For 30 years, he made people better. Had nothing to do after the NFL. I mean, he did it, you know, at Michigan, Philadelphia, and Detroit. But long after his career was over, he perfected that gift. He did it, you know, at Michigan, I think it was a God Philadelphia, and Detroit. But long after his career was over, he perfected that gift. He knew he had it. I think it was a God-given thing. I really think he nurtured people. Gift. I really think he motivated people. He inspired people, supported them, empowered them. Not he helped them giving them the proverbial fish, not by giving them the teaching them how to be fishermen, but teaching them how to be fishermen. And one of the threads of his life, and I was going to talk about one of the threads of his life, and I was going to talk about this in the book, was you know, on the playing fields and business and life. You know, on the playing fields and business and life. You know, it's even in the title of his and Vince's book, The Last Laugh, Vision to Victory. And now he's achieved the eternal victory. And now he's achieved the eternal victory over death. The ultimate victory. The victory over death. You know, I'm going to get a little religious. I'm supposed to be a minister. You know, I'm going to get a little religious. I'm supposed to be a minister. Bible's replete with references to victory. Bible's replete. There's literally references to victory. There's literally hundreds. There's one is always that we all know it. We've heard it at funerals. There's one is always that we all know it. We've heard it at funerals. 15:15. O death, where is thy sting? O death, grave, where is thy victory? O grave, where is thy victory? Well, Dennis had many victories in life, and now Dennis had many victories in life, and now he stands victorious in death. One thing that Nancy and the girls told me when we were chatting. One thing that Nancy and the girls told me when we were chatting was that Dennis was not afraid to die. Just what? Was that Dennis was not afraid to die. Didn't matter. Just what? Was not. Said if I die tomorrow, I want you to know. Said if I die tomorrow, I want you to know. You've given me the best life I could have. Best life anyone could ever ask for. Best life anyone could ever ask for. And I'll be waiting for you when you get there. And I'll be waiting for you when you get there. I'll be waiting. He had many victories in life, many successes. He had many victories in life, many successes. A lot more than most, really. But his greatest success is sitting right here. But his greatest success is sitting right here. Cruising William. Lauren Katie is. Katie told me the other day that Katie told me the other day that the only thing that could make him come home early from work, the only thing that could make him come home early from work was the chance to be. They lit him with his grandkids. They lit him up. If he wasn't already living a fulfilled life, if he wasn't already living a fulfilled life, they were the icing on the cake. He would always be there to protect them. He would always be there to protect them. That's one thing he said. Always. I want you to know this. He is right now. I want you to know this. He is into the here right now. Right now. He's protecting and into the hereafter. He really is. He's protecting those kids. He really is protecting you from afar, and don't ever forget that. Protecting you from afar, and don't ever forget that. Since talking to the girls the other day, I've had this song running out through my head. It's that great World War II era song called "We'll Meet Again." Great World War II era song called "We'll Meet Again." I should have just said that. I promised myself I wouldn't. Should have just said that. I promised myself I wouldn't try to sing it. You get the gist, but you get the gist. That common thread that runs through all religions. That common thread that runs through all religions. And you know the details vary. One religion, the details vary. The details are never the same. But in some manner or another, we're reunited. In some manner or another, we're reunited with our loved ones in the spiritual realm. Dennis has passed from this life, but he's not gone forever. Dennis has passed from this life. We should not say goodbye, but until we meet again. We should not say goodbye, but until we meet again. Don't know when. We'll meet again. Don't know where. I wasn't gonna do this, but until I wasn't gonna do this, that Dennis wrote, that Patty read that poem that Dennis wrote. I really wasn't gonna use this, but it's dovetails so well. Use this, but it's dovetails so well. Wrote with that note. I mean, it's perfect. It aligns perfectly with it. It's perfect. It's a poem I've carried around with me. It's a poem I've in my little book carried around with me. Use it. The only time I've read it in a service was when my brother. The only time I've read it in a service was when my brother. It's a poem I came across a long time ago. A long time ago. It's only the second time I'm ever going to use it. It's by Henry Scott. The second time I'm ever going to use it. It's by Henry Scott Holland. It's called Death is Nothing at All. It does not count. Death is nothing at all. It does not count. Next room. I've only slipped away into the next room. Everything remains exactly as it was. Everything remains exactly as it was. Are you? I am. The old life that we lived so finally together is untouched. The old life that we lived so finally together is untouched. Whatever we were to each other, we are still. Whatever we were to each other, we are still. Call me by that old familiar name. Call me by that old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way you always used. Speak to me in the easy way you always used. Put no difference. We're no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. We're no forced air of solemnity. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes we always laughed at the little jokes we enjoyed together. Think of me, play, pray for smile. Think of me. Let my name be ever the household word it always was. Let my name be ever the household word. Let it be spoken without an effort, without the ghost. Let it be spoken without an effort, without the ghost of a shadow. Life means all that it ever meant. Life means all that it ever was. There is absolute and unbroken continuity. There is absolute and unbroken continuity. Negligible absence. What is death but a negligible? Why should I be out of mind because I'm out of sight? Why should I be out of mind because I'm out of sight? For an interval. I am but waiting very near for an interval. Just around the corner. Very near. All is well. Around the corner. Nothing is hurt. All is well. Nothing is lost. Nothing is hurt. One brief moment, and all will be as one brief moment. And all will be we shall laugh at the trouble of parting. How we shall laugh at the trouble of parting when we meet again. Dennis, until then, we're going to be standing on your shoulders. Until then, we're going to be standing on your shoulders. We'll be trying to use you as the exemplar. We'll be trying to use you as the exemplar on how to live a heavy burden, but when I'm sure you can heavy burden, but when I'm sure you can handle. You're a big man, because Dennis Franks, you're a big man. May we pray. May we pray. Dear Lord, as we commend Dennis's spirit to you, we ask that you commend Dennis's spirit to you. We ask that you sustain his family soul. And may your arms encircle them and shield them beneath your wings. May your arms encircle them and shield them beneath your wings in this season of sadness. Be their guide through uncertainties and their faithful friend. Be their guide through uncertainties and their faithful friend. As we draw this memorial service to a close, as we draw this memorial service to a wonderful expectation. We rejoice in our wonderful expectation. We thank you for your promise that someday we will have a great reunion. We thank you for your promise that someday we will have a great reunion. Farewells. Where there will be, and that is why we have celebrated, not mourned, and that is why we have celebrated this dear saint today, the life of this dear saint, my brother, because may the road rise up to meet you, but the beginning. May the wind always be at your back. Dennis, my brother, may the sun shine warm upon your face. May the road rise up to meet you, fall soft upon your feet. May the wind always be at your back. And until we meet again, may the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you.
Thank you, Ogie. All right, we all made the promise. It's time to... Thank you, Ogie. All right, we all made the promise. It's time to...
Good days, please come more often. Everybody's in the streets out coughing. Smog in the air, gonna... Good days, please come more often. Everybody's in the streets out coughing. Smog in the air, gonna send you to months. Everybody everywhere down on the coffins. Everybody was born to a mom.
Hello, everybody. If you would like to perhaps show your video if you want to, just want to spend a couple of minutes after the special memorial service to share a bit of magic moments that perhaps you may have experienced with Dennis. And yeah, I personally want to say with Lauren, his daughter's speech really touched my heart. I am committed to not let any more sadness consume me, because I've been really sad and upset for a few weeks since he passed. And yes, like oh, there's still a video of slides. Okay, let me go back to it before we share. Sorry, guys. Where is, okay. Just let me go back to it first. I thought they had finished because I saw the people leaving the venue. Okay, bear with me, guys, sorry.
No, they still post a lot of his life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, you can always go back to Market America Facebook group to watch it again. Hold on, let me just
Everybody ain't breezy, and I hope you realize when you look into another person's eyes, you know today will be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today will be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today will be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today will be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. You know today will be a very good day just to have a good day. And I say, hey, hey, put all my troubles to the side, and I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. And I say, hey, hey, put all my troubles to the side, and I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. And I say, hey, hey, thank God that we're alive. Today will be a very good day just to have a good day. You know today will be a very good day just to have a good day. With a little more love and a little more laughter, a little more good vibes, less disaster. You know today would be a very good day just to have a good day. All day, hey, hey, all day long, 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 hey, hey. Today will be a very good day, for a good day, for a good day. You know that, for a good day. Yeah, we need one for a good day. We got this for a good day.
hello. I think that was officially the conclusion of the celebration of life for Dennis. Mark and Jess, if you don't, yeah, hi Mark. Mark
Hello.
is a really close buddy of mine, a TLS certified coach that we've been working very closely recently. And he's all the way in Boston, the US. And I think the rest of us are all in Australia. So Australians, let's say hello to Mark over there in the US. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
I promise to smile.
Nice to see you.
Mark, why don't you get us started? Because I know you're a very good speaker. Share with us, what have you been reflecting on regarding our beloved Dennis?
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you, Kitty. Thank you, everyone, for having me here. And it was really great to share this moment together and to learn more about Dennis from many different perspectives. And that's one of the things that I really reflected on, was how all these different groups of so many wonderful people came together today. And we all know some piece of the pie or piece of the puzzle about Dennis. And collectively together, the impact that he's had in Market America on the football field as a family man and as a role model, leader, and mentor. And you know, one of the things that struck me was that everybody had something good to say about how Dennis has transformed their life, and how he is I don't know the word to say, but I think Dennis is a man of effort, and the effort that he gives, regardless of whatever the resume says, that is something that comes from Dennis's heart. And I've spoke with Dennis one time, and it was a very short time that I had with him in our Level Up group that I met Kitty.
I know we were together at the time on Zoom, right?
Absolutely, but I definitely felt that from one Zoom call,
One encounter, yeah.
one encounter, and through the many audios that I've listened to him speaking, always consistently the same person. And that if any of us in this room were moved the same way I was moved today, I take away that how we go through each and every day, dancing, smiling, loving others, serving others, and spreading the service that is in our heart, Dennis has taught us, will carry on his legacy. So it's been great to share this moment with you all, and I'm going to keep dancing and keep smiling each and every day.
You know what, Mark? You're very good at teaching us how to do squats. Why don't we do that so we can have a change of physiology so that we're not too sad? Okay, let's do it.
Okay, do some squats. Let me get out.
Mark is the TLS certified trainer, coach that has been with Amber Young, encourage us to do squats every day. So, I've learned this thing that changing physiology will change our mindset and our mood. Right now, I'm feeling sad, but once we do squats, I know that we can then be like what Lauren said, right? To be dancing, to be happy, to be smiling, to be laughing, because that's what Dennis would want us. Okay, Mark.
All right, cool. Okay. All right. Get my phone set up here. Just a second.
Are you still in the library, mate, buddy?
I stepped outside. I was in the library. Quiet. All right. Okay. Just 3 squats, 3 simple squats today. Okay, everybody? You got your cameras on? Okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna
you can have your cameras on possible, but if not, that's okay. Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. We're going to do 3 simple squats, go down and go down all the way to 90 degrees, and we're going to hold it.
90 degrees.
Count it down from 10, Kitty.
How many?
Count down from 10 seconds.
Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand up.
All right.
This is good exercise, good TLS body composition building.
Down to 90 degrees again, all right?
90 degrees again.
Okay, Anne's going to count for us this time.
Okay,
right,
at the end, you want to count? 10 seconds.
Ooh.
No, okay.
Right.
You're better count.
We're at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back up. All right.
I think that will do for now. I think we are a little tired. Sorry. You know what, Mark? Let me tell you, we all
too early
at 5 o'clock because we start. Over there where you are, it's like 3 o'clock start. 2 o'clock. We had to get up at we started at 6 a.m. You see, Mark? It's still committed, yeah.
I think everybody said one word about what you see from that. What you take in, you see.
Okay, good idea. Yeah, from the memorial service, one thing you got from it, the reflection, and one thing, your personal magic moment with Dennis. Yes. Auntie Anne, shall we get you to start, please?
Okay. I when the daughter said, in the room, he write said he's changing address. That one so touched me. That's why we all have hope, you see. When we are in heaven, we are changing our address. You remember the last,
Yes.
last part? That one really, this is what I always think, you see. You know, if we are not in the world, we are in another address, you see, but we are, you know, looking down. That's why the daughter shared that her father's death. That one, oh, I really believe that. And he's now he's watching us, even we are in here. So we just carry, you know, his legacy. Yeah. That's
And
very
what was
important.
one magic moment you personally had with Dennis, like with your many interactions with him, Auntie Anne?
Very caring and really, you know, just like when I face anything, when I talk to him, he will give me answer. You see, that is what I feel, you know, that he very sincere and give you the answer how you can carry on. Because I always tell him he's my senior. I don't have any senior. You see, that's why so go through. So, and anytime I write email for him, he will always straight or WhatsApp. So I feel I'm so blessed. Have him as my mentor, my, you know, in this business, really believe in the company, believe in the system. Yeah, that's the only way we are average person. If we can carry this on, we will be like him. I believe. Just focus, and our company is really, and Dennis is really believe in JR, believe in Houston. Just like when I look at the plan, I will tell you straight away. Then I even recruit my senior, the one who showed me the book. Yeah, that's why this plan is really work. Yeah, this is he touched me, and any problem he will tell me. Look at the plan. The plan is work, you see. You know, company is not perfect. Everything is not perfect, but our compensation plan is the most perfect one. Yeah. So we also blessed have this type of plan, and that we can pass on our legacy. I can see for my family, for my children, next time for my grandchildren. Yeah. That is really touched me.
Thank you, Auntie Anne. Lei Hun?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I've seen a lot of videos on him when he came to Australia. I felt the intensity when he comes into a room. He's so full of energy, so full of enthusiasm, and he just brings everybody positiveness, you know. And the best thing we could do, like what Kevin said, is go up by 1% to live up his legacy.
Yeah.
And I plan to do that. And I'm very touched with what the daughter said here, Lauren. And yeah.
Thank you, Lei Hun. Cleo? Are you muted, Cleo?
You're muted.
I don't know Dennis personally. He's really larger than life and someone on stage, and I'm one of those people who prefers to sit right at the back. So, but he does touch all of us, our lives. I'd love to have a big brother like him, no? Or to be to a person like him that reach out beyond yourself, to live a life that's not about I, me, and myself, to go beyond that. And there's so many things about him. He reminds me of my brother, actually. Our brother is a bit like that. Do crazy things, things beyond himself, a big boat that can fill up a lot of people. Yeah, his life, he just fill up with lots and lots of people. You can read the some things they write about him, how he have parties and gatherings and feed many people. I like hospitality. I do that a fair bit for a lot of reasons, you know. Some are for business and all, but he just do because that's he is. So there's so many things to love about a person like him. And his family life, he loves his family, his wife, his children. I love the picture, you know, he carries his grandkids around.
Yes, thank you.
What a life,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I know Marisa needs to go very soon. So Marisa, if you want to share and leave, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I have to
No
leave.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah, just wanted to share about one thing for sure is that when JR say about Dennis, how he met Dennis, and I think the best part was that he said there's so much to talk about him. So it's just the belief he has. So that was something that really touched me.
Yes.
Yeah, so I really feel that, and also even when he's here, I do meet him a few times. Yeah, because I'm in the GMTSS, so I get to have dinner with him together with the team,
Wow.
and we really feel the genuine, the sincerity, the help he wants for Australia. And the sad part about it is that I think we just miss a bit about what we take him for granted. So I guess that's one thing that he's really put a lot of energy. So what Kitty you say was that we need to really put the mask on for ourselves first before we put on for others.
Yeah.
Before we can help others. So please, we have to learn from this that in order for us to help others, we have to take care of ourselves first. And like what that her daughter was saying, that I'll take my vitamins. I will continue. I will go forward. That's the one that is give us hope that regardless of what, let's do it for Australia. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Marisa.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Have a good
Yeah,
day, okay?
very
Yeah,
emotional.
you gotta go to work, yeah? It's nearly
Yeah,
9 o'clock.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. See ya.
Bye, Marisa. Anyone else would like to share? I know that Jess and Debbie are busy. Jess is looking after the kids and Debbie is on the way to work. I don't know who iPhone is. There is an iPhone below.
Evelyn want to share something?
Who is that?
Evelyn Tian.
Evelyn. Oh, it's Evelyn. Evelyn, are you there?
I think maybe he's walked out.
iPhone is Evelyn, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's okay. All right. Well,
I just want to say sorry. Halfway I left because I don't want to miss any part, and then the Zoomer is like on and off, on and
I think
off.
the reason why that is because I'm downloading on Zoom, and then from Zoom is uploading from Facebook. But you know what? It's all recorded in the Market America, so we can always go back to watch
That's
it.
why I go back to the Facebook are very clear. You see?
Yeah.
So I'm in there.
I'm actually watching it on my Zoom, and then I'm watching it on my phone with Market America at the same time. So I do both.
Go back and watch in the Facebook. Really,
That's okay. That's okay. Yes, not a problem at all.
Sorry, huh? That's
No,
why.
no. It's
That's
okay.
why I told Kitty I have to be live there because I can't hear it very clear.
Yes, not the problem. Yes, I mean it's just I feel it's good. Like whoever that can be in this post memorial sharing would be wonderful. As a time of reflection. That's all. But thanks, Auntie Anne, for being here. I really appreciate you. And as I always say, Mark, you probably don't know Auntie Anne, and look, who is actually my all of us here, senior partner. She's the first director in Australia, the first $1 million earner. She is a very successful entrepreneur and an amazing mentor and leader. And if you look at obviously, we all have different personalities. Auntie Anne is a bit shy type, not maybe like Dennis' friends, but the way that she cares and loves is very much like Dennis. So, and Auntie Anne, I really want to,
thank you.
From the bottom of my heart, say thank you. But anyway, Mark, I just wanted to share, which I already shared on my Facebook profile, that those of you who were with us, Mark and I were actually doing on Saturday a TLS overview together in collaboration. And as we were doing it, it would have been Saturday morning and Mark's Friday evening at Amber Young's Coring. To me, a lot of memories came flooding back at me as I was presenting. Our late mentor, dear friend, the father and pioneer of TLS, Dennis, was really huge, on the 4 pillars of TLS, the 4 components and the basic 5, and everything to do with the unfranchised. So Mark, as you and I were facilitating the information session, I really sensed, we were doing this launching of the Lose It Before You Gain It campaign. As I was sharing that was the last slide, I really could almost like hear the voice and the teaching of Dennis at the back of my mind and in my heart. And, I'm sure it's not just Mark and I, all of you are also part of the business and TLS particularly. We are committed to following Dennis' footsteps as he would want us to take the same approach to impact life, whether it's through TLS or through the unfranchised business. And let's live on to his legacy. And just like, out of all the different sharings, every single one at the memorial service just now, like most of you who mentioned, Lauren, his daughter, and Katie, who his daughter, both of them beautiful, wonderful, amazing girls, as a result of Dennis and Nancy, who've actually given so much in their lives, and not only them, but their grandchildren as well. And the big Diesel, Dennis is his nickname. Diesel is the daddy of Lauren and Katie. And the big Diesel, and there's a mini Diesel, who is the grandchild, William, he loved so much. He always shares with us, even like once a month, we used to have this certified trainers TLS meeting with Dennis, Melanie, and Suzanne, and he would say so much and share so much about his love for his family and his grandchildren. And as you can see, those beautiful videos are tribute. He's really a great family man. What I love is, he has this great balance of loving his family and the business and all of us. Like Kevin Buckman said, every single one of us is Dennis's life work. The fact that he gave his all to Market America, Shop.com, and each of us means that it's now time for us to carry his baton, right? His light, his love, his legacy, and spread that ripple effect, even if it is 1 or 10 or 100 or 1,000, like in the case of Dennis' friends, hundreds of thousands of people that were impacted by him. I know for me, I'm committed to following him. I'm committed to doing 1 more degree, like Kevin said. We had a call with Kevin Buckman, and he said with the 90-day Master UFO program, he said, if you've been only showing 1 plan a month, you need to show 1 plan a fortnight. If you've been showing 1 plan a fortnight, do 1 plan a week. But in essence, we need to do 2 evaluations plan a week, which is the standard. Then 1 degree more means 3 evaluations plan a week. Wow, huge challenge, but let's do it. No matter where you were at or where I am at in terms of showing plan, I have to admit I haven't been as consistent as I should. I'm going to be going that 1 degree, which means it's like, water from 1 degree difference to become steam, it makes a difference.
Yeah, that is true. So when I start the MA, I really show friends nearly every day, even 1 person, because I always believe, just like Dennis' friend said, family, because I do it is first thing I want to retire my husband, the family. You see, the family first, then that's why I always share with him that my husband always had to take me out for holiday. He said, if I'm not on holiday, I'm always MA.
Yeah, you're so committed to the business, you will forever.
So he shared with me that same thing, he can understand
the balance, yeah, family time, relaxation.
But he said he always buy good tea and that what Nancy.
Auntie and I can relate to you. My husband says the same thing. Kitty, you work yourself to death. Don't do that.
My husband would tell me, when I'm so tired, somebody call me about Market Australia thing, I will wake up.
Yeah, same with me. That's why I think it's good, huh? Like to learn from
It's your
that talent.
passion in that because you know this brand really can help normal people. Because us, we normal people, we don't have like family live a lot of
Average,
leaders
yeah.
for us and all this. And this brand really carry on. Just like all the rule and regulation they put in, and it is protect, just like Jay said, the ship not sink. You
That's
see?
right.
So we all have to understand we are not a multi-level company.
No, we're not multi-level.
Rule and regulation for us to keep the ship keep on going.
That's right.
Really can go to next generation, next generation, next generation. We are the
Yes.
shareholder of shop.com. Make sure you know this.
Yes, yes. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being on this special Zoom meeting.
Thank you, Kitty. Always so
Thank you,
pleasant.
Kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you all. Let's continue on with his legacy. And like Mark and I promised, we will continue to smile, to laugh, to dance, to keep fit, to be TLSers, right, Mark?
Yeah, Mark, you are the one who commit Australia and US. You get what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, Mark, you're connecting with Australia now. So now you also have been the conduit of connecting us with Amber Young's Corin.
Amber Young's group. Yeah, that's
Oh,
we are very happy. You know, we
so
can
great.
work together. Yes.
Yes.
All right, take care, everybody. Love you all.
That's why I wear a red dress, you see.
Me too. Yeah, because Nancy said we want to wear bright to celebrate him. So that's why I deliberately wear this red. It's not like a funeral black color. And I like your top too, Mark. It's like your US jacket, right?
Yes, we had the flag flown for him today. That was really special.
It was very special. That's right.
Very special.
All right, well, let's keep in touch. Oh, by the way, guys, I have put in this chat the group which I've started, and we're going to be, reflecting on Dennis a lot more through that group. I just posted here in the chat. If you haven't already joined, click on it and join. It's actually The Last Laugh, Victor's Code, which is the book that Dennis and Vince co-wrote, which I can tell you in the last 2 weeks since I was really guilty. He gave me the book, he gave me the Victor's Code, he signed it and he gave it to me, sent it to me all the way from the US. And I didn't read it. I was just so busy. I was just way too busy. And then Jess! Hello, Joseph! Hello!
My daughter.
Jess is Auntie Anne Luke's daughter and her grandchildren. So Auntie Anne, just like Dennis, you have legacy towards Jess and her kids. Oh. Hello, Joseph. How are you, Joseph? Good to meet you. I'm Kitty. Nice to meet you. Yeah. So that Facebook group is The Last Laugh and Victor's Code. I know that all of you have already requested to get an autographed book, all of you. So you will have that. And Mark, do you have that book?
I don't have the book, not the Last Laugh, no.
Yeah, you can actually order it through Amazon or Bonnie. Yeah.
That's the only book that Dennis friend write, you see.
Yeah, he wrote that book with Vince. Vince was actually one of the speakers just now. It's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful book about his life. The Last Laugh is when both of them, let me just give you a bit of, for those of you who haven't read it, Dennis was 6'1". He was short considering he was the athlete. All the people are like 65 and above. So he was short, even though 6'1" to me was already like, giant. And Vince was 30 when he started playing football with the NFL. So both of them were supposed to be not winners, champions, sort of, because one is old, one is short. But they still won because Dennis said he outworked himself and Vince said, I outworked everyone else. Because of their hard work and their willingness to be outworking everyone, both of them actually became the winner of their Philadelphia Eagles. And as a result, they were caught on video and camera, their last laugh when they won, because they were like, ha, 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 we won. So there were so many naysayers who told Dennis, you are short. And then Vince, you are old. There's no way you would win, but they won. That to me is such an inspiring story because I'm old, I'm short, but I can win.
You all can win in marketshop.com.
We can win in shop.com.
Lei Hun, huh? Make sure, huh? Lei Hun.
Lei Hun.
Okay, I'll try my very best.
And Kitty, yes, Kitty.
Thank you. Thank you for your encouragement. And
yeah, Lei Hun, you will. You know, I'm here to support you, my friend.
Thank you.
All the way. But and then Victor's code. Before we close, I'll just share. There are 7 V words, which is from vision to victory. Dennis Franks is someone who had a vision. He saw the vision of what he wanted to achieve, just like JR, the best visionary. Every single one of us, we need to know our why. We need to know our vision, what we want to achieve in our life. For me, I always say my purpose as a wellness warrior is to help people achieve their holistic health, but also financially, as this business can offer us. And I'm sure you all have your own why. Yeah. And when I read, the 7 Victor's Code, which, if you go to the Facebook group, I'm organizing with Jackie Blasco and Bonnie Church together to have some book club. So we're planning to have maybe once a month. We don't know when we will start, maybe early next year, for those chapters as well as Victor's Code. And we can come on Zoom like this to share with one another, maybe one chapter at a time or one Victor Code at a time. So once everything is settled down, we really even wanted to invite Lauren, JR, and the rest of the corporate team so we can all still live the legacy of Dennis Franks. All right, I better let you all go. I've got to have some breakfast. I'm really
I'm having croissant.
Oh, good on you. Yeah, all right. And Mark, you're gonna have some afternoon tea, right?
Yeah, my
Dinner.
husband had the egg for me already, you see.
Yeah, you have an egg. Good, lucky. I'm gonna have some breakfast. And Mark, what time is it over there in Boston?
It's o'clock and it's dinner time right now. Gonna get some
dinner. Yeah, you better go have some dinner.
Have your dinner.
All right, brother. Mark, continue to collaborate, and I'm here to support you too.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get 1% better. Let's do this.
1% better. 1% better.
Yeah.
We'll
All
do
right.
more TLS overviews together, Mark.
All right.
Absolutely. Love you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you, Mark.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Debbie. Bye.
Bye-bye.